I just got the new shade of the Chanel Les Beiges, what is this called? The Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream. I just got this one in the mail. It is the shade Tan Medium Bronze. I thought it'd be nice to compare it to the original Chanel cream bronzer in the universal shade, because this one I've had for a while, but I don't reach for it very often because the shade is just very warm for my skin tone. And I've heard reviews that the medium one that they came out with in the mini size is a better shade for cooler skin tones. So let's try them both out. So I've already did my my foundation and my concealer, nothing crazy today. So I will try the universal shade on my right cheek and the medium shade on my left cheek. And I love that they came out with the small travel sizes because this is more manageable. This will take you forever to use up if you ever actually can use it up. This seems like something that seems less wasteful. First, let's just do some swatches. So I have the original one here. It is called Universal, so it's supposed to suit every skin tone. I don't agree. It's very warm and very yellow. There's little to no coolness in this entire bronzer. And I'll show you swatched, but it is just pretty orange. A lot oranger than I could actually use on my skin on a daily basis. And then compared to the new shade, the medium, I will show you right beside it. And the universal, the big one, comes in a tub like this, and it's kind of swirled in there. And the new one just comes very flat. I'm not sure what the reason was for that, but I'm assuming just because there was more product in this. So in the big one, there is 30 grams, which is 1 ounce. In the small one, there is 15 grams, so exactly half the amount of product. Much better deal for your buck. Actually, no. The larger one is a better deal for your buck, but considering how much product you're actually wasting, because you're never going to use this up, this seems like a better deal in my book. Let's just take this one and swatch it beside that one. They both feel very creamy. Actually, this new one feels a little more creamy. It feels more emollient than the other one does. Let's just swatch that right beside. See, and they don't look that different, but this one seemed to blend out a little easier. And I'm going to swatch it next to some other bronzers that I have here. I have the Fenty cream bronzer in Butter Biscuit beside that medium one. And then I will have the Say Fair Bronze beside that one. And then lastly, the Tom Ford cream bronzer in Intensity 0.5. Just so you can kind of see the difference between all of them. The Chanel ones are definitely a lot more warm than the other ones that I tend to reach for more often. Okay, so I'm going to start with the universal shade on this side. Just going to take a very dense brush. This is just the Makeup Forever. I think it's just a bronzing brush. Tap it very slightly because these are very pigmented and the color shows up instantly on the face, and it's really hard to work with, I find, because of how pigmented that it is. So let's take this shade and apply it to this side. Stomach is growling, and you can already tell it is just very, very warm. And I think, like in the summer, if I have a tan on my face, which doesn't really happen very often because I wear a lot of sunscreen to prevent that from happening, but I feel like if it did happen even slightly, it might work a little bit better. But again, that's not very often. You can kind of see the color there. I'm trying not to pick up too much and get carried away. I'm like barely just tapping my brush into the container just to pick up a little bit on the brush. And if this was in the correct shade, it would be like a perfect bronzer because it does blend out very nicely. And it is in a beautiful packaging. It is Chanel, so you know it's going to be really good quality ingredients. It's just the shade. They got to work on their shades in like their entire brand because it's not very universal for, unless you are a neutral or a warm undertoned medium skin tone, the products just don't flatter everybody. So I have that kind of melted into the skin. And as you can tell, it just kind of like melts and becomes one with the skin. And if I was just slightly warmer in skin tone, this would be probably my perfect bronzer shade. Okay. So now that side is finished, it looks pretty good and blended to me. Make sure it's back into the hairline, back over the ear. Don't forget the ear because you don't want a line of bronzer around your face like that, like you used to see in high school. It's not a good look. For the other side, I'm going to take another dense brush. Actually, I'm just going to take the same brush because it is clean. This brush takes and deposits product very, very nicely. There's nothing wasted or sucked up in the brushes. Let's just take the smaller one, and the brush does fit in there. You can see that it fits in there pretty nicely. Ooh, the color comes up a lot more in this one. So like barely touching it. You can see on the brush there, it just kind of picks it up just on the ends of the bristles. Let's go into this side. Oh, it even deposits more creamy. See, and even though it is still warm, it's definitely a lot nicer of a color for my skin tone. And you can see there is more red in this compared to the universal. There is still warmth and still a bit of yellow tone, but at least that gives us some kind of red coolness. Not much, but I mean they're getting there. Oh yeah, the pickup and the pigment on this one is, I think, a lot nicer than that one. It's hard to see because I am just so fair and everything just looks the same on me. But personally, I feel like this side looks a lot nicer. This just kind of blends it all together. Oh yeah. It deposits everything. You can see the difference, kind of. This one looks a little muddy because it is pretty orange. This side looks a little bit more like a golden bronzer is supposed to look, or how you'd expect it to look. Not bad at all. Like it, and I feel like this one has more of a sheen to it. In the pan, let me just have a look. It does not look like it has any kind of shine to it. They both look the same when it comes to texture, but on the face, this medium one kind of gives a glow back to the skin. Not sure if you can see that. This one just seems a little bit more matte or more of a natural finish. This one seems more of a glowy finish. Something to note. I have to say, my face looks very nice right now, and this side looks better. And I used the same product on both sides. I used the new In Beauty face glaze. This stuff is phenomenal. This stuff like smoothed out my texture and made my skin look extremely healthy before I put on my foundation. It's really good. But I actually like this one a lot. Maybe I'll actually use a Chanel bronzer now that I have a shade that works with me. I don't mind that at all, you guys. That seems actually really nice. Okay. A little bit on my chin. I can't stop looking at my skin. My skin looks very nice because of this. I also used my LED face mask last night. So that could also be why my skin looks so good today, but I'm PMSing, so it really should not look this good right now. This is not normal. I'm just going to pull up some prices for you for these products. For the full size, the 1 ounce of the product, it is it is $62 US. For the little mini travel size, it is $50. So the price difference, to get the big one, it really is more worth the money when it comes to the size of the product. But I just don't like wasting everything. I'm never going to use this up. This is a very large amount of cream bronzer. I'm just never going to use it up. So I feel like I'm either using half of it and throwing it out, which wasting the money anyway, or this gives me a chance to at least use it up and use my money's worth. So it just depends on what you prefer. If you think you're going to use it up, then by all means get the full size, but wait until they have the other colors in the full size. I don't think they do. Not in Canada. In the US they do, I'm pretty sure, but in Canada they don't. You have the other sizes. I'm looking on the website right now. Yeah, it's all out of stock. So the medium one on the Canadian website for the large size of the medium one, it just keeps saying coming soon. So it's not even here yet. I got the mini one from the US Chanel site and just pay for the shipping, which is fine because I really wanted to try this shade. So I think it was like $12 for shipping. Not a big deal. But that's what it looks like on both sides. So I have the universal on this side, topped with a little bit of the medium, and then just medium on this side. I really do like this shade. This is actually really, really nice. I hope you can see it. My lighting in here is always so effed up. But you can tell this one is more orange. It's definitely an orange warm bronzer. This one is warm, but not so warm that you can't make it work. There is coolness in there, and it's very flattering. And just the blendability of it, I felt like was a lot easier to work with. I'm going to finish up my makeup. I'll put some powders on top of it, finish my eyes, and come back and let you know my final thoughts. And I'll actually come back in a couple hours. I'm going to go do some errands with my face done and then come back and see what it looks like. See if it like settled anymore and how it looks after a few hours of wearing outside in the sun. And I will see you guys soon. Hey guys! It's now, I don't even know what time it is. I don't know where my phone is or where I put it. I took my son swimming and they're at a pool where the entire place is so hot. Like hot and steamy, and it feels like you are sweating the whole time. So my face got really sweaty from sitting in the waiting room watching him swim, where all the parents sit for watching their kids, and my face was sweating. So I'm curious to see how this looks up close. Let's bring you a little bit closer so you can see. I just applied some lip gloss. I'm wearing just the Dior lip maximizer on top of some liner that's been there since I did this morning. But that lip liner lasts forever. I just started trying the new Chanel ones that just came out, I think, in the spring, that color, and they just literally last all day long. But anyway, let's see up close. Let's bring you as close as I can. Okay. So, like, I can tell I sweat off a little bit of my makeup right here because I was sweating so much at the place, and it's a little shiny from all my sweat. But, like, the bronzers, the universal one was on this side, and it is still pretty dark and pretty, universal orange. And I set my whole face and just used the Victoria Beckham Shade 1 powder bronzer to set the cream bronzer. And then I put on some Patrick Ta blush, no highlighter, and then I just used the Victoria Beckham eye shadow sticks for my eyes, and then lip gloss. But, like, they look kind of the same. right now. This one I feel looks a little more orange, and this one looks a little bit more red, and like the pigment is still really in there. And this side just looks more glowy, in my opinion. This looks more like more matte and more melted in a good way. But I don't know, I feel like they both look kind of the same. Like from far away, I don't think anybody would know that I was wearing two different colors of bronzers. Up here at the top though, I do feel like the medium side still shows a little bit better. And this side didn't really blend very nicely into the hairline when I was trying to blend it. I don't know though. They kind of look the same. There's not really a huge noticeable difference. And I'm shocked because I never ever reach for that universal bronzer. Because of the color in the pan. When I first apply it, it doesn't really look that good. But like when it's all blended in and everything is complete, it looks perfectly fine. I just feel like that new one has some kind of added hydration to it that makes it look so healthy and glowy on the face. That's to me personally. Like up close, the camera looks the exact same. My viewfinder, it looks the same. This looks more red. Maybe because I sit like this when I'm watching him, so that would make sense why there's like redness right here. Anyway. But I really don't have anything good or bad to say about the comparisons of them. I guess it would just, there's a couple more shades of the new one now that they expanded their collection, expanded their shade range of the bronzers, because let's be real, there is no shade of bronzer that is universal. Calling it universal is kind of funny because there are a million different skin tones, and calling a one bronzer a universal shade doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm glad they expanded that. I think it still looks like it's there, and it's been a few hours. And I have nothing bad to say about either of them, so I guess it really just depends on your budget, what you want to buy, if they do have your shade. I just don't like the big one. Like, just because in my mind I know I'm not going to use it, but that's just me. And I have so many bronzers that I really have a lot of different choices. I don't really have one bronzer to use every single day. But that's it, you guys. Hopefully this was at all helpful to you. If anything you could take from this is that if you have the universal and it's still good and it still works for you, you really don't need to buy the new shade in the medium. Because as you can see on the face, they are pretty similar and work the same. It's just very, very slightly creamier and more hydrating on the new formula in the new different shades. But if you have one and you don't have the money to go and buy a shade in case it'll work better, you really don't need to. If you are darker than me or lighter than me, which is strange, but if you are, then the new shade range kind of gives you more options, which I think that's really great for them to at least expand them a little bit, because one shade of bronzer is not okay. But that's just my thoughts. Okay, have a great Tuesday, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.